Hello, fellow railroaders. This quick video is just going to show you how to assemble the Wespe, W-E-S-P-E, do-it-yourself builds to build a German armored train, a BP42 or a BP44. There were slight differences between them. It's Mox Nix to me. But anyway, there's some things you just want to be aware of if you're going to build the kits. So that's the purpose of this video. Now, what I'm going to show you is what they offer. Wespe offers build-it-yourself kits, clean to build, okay, or they offer ready-made, okay, pre-built kits. The build-it-yourself kits run between $40 and $45, somewhere in that neighborhood. The pre-built kits run between $80 and $90. So it's your call what you want to do. I'm going to show you, I bought all the build-it-yourself kits just to save a little bit of money, because in reality you need 12 cars. If you're going to build a full train, you need 12 cars, and you're going to need then the engine cover for it. So it's really 13. So just something to keep in mind. But anyway, so this larger kit, this is, well, first of all, none of the build-it-yourself kits come with any couplers, okay? So you're going to have to devise, how am I going to couple all these cars together? But I do want to show you on this larger kit, the truck that comes with it. And the truck that comes with it is subpar. It's terrible. This base had only one secure point to the truck itself, and on mine, I snapped them all. They're basically totally useless trucks, okay? So what I ended up having to do on all of mine of that style, I bought 6 of them, unfortunately of the large box, is you just take some styrene, I think I used 0.02 styrene strips in there, and I just glued them in place, measured how high I wanted the holes to be, then put the styrene in, and then mounted the cars, mounted the wheels. And it works great. They roll nicely. There's no issue. So just something to be aware of if you get that one. The next size box that they came out with was this size, all right? And that size box came with the best set of trucks. These trucks are extremely robust. They're excellent. They're very tough. The wheels fit in perfectly. They do exactly what you want them to do. And so very, very happy with those. Then the last box I got happened to be a BP44. You know, like I said, the differences. But anyway, in this box, they came with a different set, a third type of truck in them. And these trucks are similar to these, but they're not as robust. They tend to break. They're just not as, they're more prone to breakage. Thinner resin. These end pieces were really close together, and I had to spread them apart, and I broke one truck. This one fit in. I just don't like it. I'm probably going to rip it out. But anyway, but these are the kind of trucks that come with that. If you break the trucks, don't worry, you just do what I showed you on the previous one, and I'll be honest with you, that works fine. So anyway, I want to show you a ready-made. This is a ready-made engine, and it's nice detail. They put all the detailing on them. They do a good job, and it's painted. Now this one came, I think it was used. I don't know how I came across it. But what it had in the bottom was just a piece of plastic with some locomotive wheels attached to it. I'm going to assume that was part of the kit, that they were in there, but you couldn't use them. It was just a plastic model. But the good news was, on the pre-built, it came with this. And this is a coupler, okay? This is a coupler for the European type. And what you're seeing here is a base which articulates, which is very nice, and then the holder for the various, the box holder for the various types of European couplers. Those of you familiar, there's like 8, and you know, it just slides in there and you're good to go. And the post allows you to adjust the heights. And I'm gonna guess that all the pre-built models come with these type of couplers. But let's say you're building one that you build it yourself and you wanted to use those couplers. Well, if you do, then DC Supplies is the only place I found, it's in England, the only place I found that carries those. And this is for the slider part, okay, the articulation part. And then this is for the pockets that you would have to buy. Now, I priced that out, and to do all the cars you need for this consist, it would have come to about $100 or about $10 a car. So that's something to consider. And then you'd still have to buy the couplers if you don't own any. So something to consider. But anyway, so on the build it yourself, none of them come with couplers. And I'm going to show you my first iteration of what I did. Is I had a bunch of Katie or McHenry whisker couplers, and I put them in the box and I glued it to the chassis, and they ran around and they did great. It worked great on the layout. I loved it. But I did find that because they're made it so close to these plates, if you want to use them, you don't have the separation, the width of the coupler in order to separate them. So if the two plates are overhanging either coupler by just a little bit, it's almost, well, you really can't get them uncoupled. It's very difficult. So I said, well, that's not the best idea. Let me think of what else I want to do. Well, my inspiration came from these cars. And these come at the end of the train. A tank fits in this one, and a turret fits on that one. And the way they go together is like this. And I said, well, there's no way you can have a coupler come out that far. So I took a rare earth magnet and put a piece of metal. Boom. They come together. That magnet really holds it in place. It's not going to come off. And I said, wow, well, that's not a bad idea. And I wanted to show you the magnet. These are what I bought. And the type of magnets I'm using are 1/4 inch in diameter by 1/16 in height. So these worked really good. So I said, oh, I'm happy about that. So I said, well, if it works for that, it should work for my train. So what I went ahead and did is glued them onto the plate. All right. And by doing so, then when I put the two together, boom, articulates. It's great. Happy, happy, happy. So that's what I recommend. Don't do anything else. Just get the magnets, put them on there. Because you remember, these magnets are rare earth, so they're pretty powerful. And on these consists, you're only pulling 6 cars. You're pushing 6 because the engine's in the center, but you're only pulling 6. You're not pulling that many, and this is worked on a layout with a 2.5% grade, so there's not an issue with that. But the one thing you want to keep in mind is when you put these together, and let me get this piece off. You put these together, okay, if you want to add the doors that were used on the real trains to protect the couplers, then what you need to do is make sure that when they turn, they can. And so I have one side that goes out and the other side goes in, so when the cars are going around a curve, they don't interfere with each other. So that's all you need to think about for that. The one thing I will show is that these are butt joints, and butt joints are naturally weak. So what you want to do is take some styrene, put it in there, and I'll put it along the base to make sure that they're sturdy enough. And this is the styrene I'm using. Okay, and I would just reinforce it with that, and I'll probably, when I'm all said and done, I'm going to go ahead and I'll use 5-minute epoxy and coat everything in that to make sure everything stays put. Now, one thing to just be aware of is when you're putting these together, you're putting the magnets, I would put the magnet first. Oops, and I went to that. Man, you're killing me here, Smalls. Put the magnet on first like this, okay? Because if you don't and you put it on upside down, it'll repel the car. So you want to make sure the polarity is correct. But what's nice is once you got it on there, oh, man, yeah, give me a break. Because I pulled the wrong one. That would help. All right. So once it's on there, the next car that you need to mate up to, you just go ahead and put it up, glue it in place, and they're perfectly marked. And I would mark the bottoms of the cars because you always want to have the same ones mated to each other. But anyway, so that's how easy this whole thing is to do. So I hope that gives, oh, I just want to show one other small thing is, let's say you have a car you're using, whatever, and it has buffers on it, all right, and you can't take them off. To get around that, and this is my donor engine, a BR86. It's way too long for this engine. I have no idea what size engine this is really designed for, but the 86 is too long, but I don't care. But anyway, so I put a magnet on the bottom of this, and I said, well, how do I attach it to this tender? Okay, so what I ended up doing was I took a piece of metal, I glued it to the chassis of the tender, got it into position. I just bent that down so the magnet had more to bite on, and I added another magnet, and it just goes up, clicks in place, and it has plenty of room so the buffers don't interfere. So that's just workarounds, just something to think about if you have to do it and you can't use the magnet direct to magnet on a simple thing like that. So that's what I wanted to show you, and I hope this video helps anyone in the future who wishes to build the Wespe model, either BP42 or BP44. Thank you for watching Low Key Productions.